Hi, I'm Kasey Woleben. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are so happy you are here at our Empower and Inspire Understanding and Accelerating Research for Leigh Syndrome virtual conference. We're all here because we have one thing in common, and that's Leigh Syndrome. Whether you're a parent or family member of an affected individual or affected yourself, or a researcher, doctor, or industry, we all have one goal, and that is to find a treatment or a cure for Leigh syndrome. So on behalf of Cure Mito Foundation and iCamp, we are so happy you are here to learn more about Leigh syndrome. Let me share my screen, and I'll give you a brief introduction of Cure Mito. So Cure Mito Foundation, it was started when my son was diagnosed with Leigh syndrome. It was back in 2014. Let me go to the next slide. So Will was born December 21st, 2011. He was a perfect baby. We had no idea what was about to happen in our lives, just like many of you on this call. My heart was full. I was overwhelmed. I was a first-time mom. My life was perfect. His first year went by so quickly, and he hit all of his milestones, growing perfectly. And all of a sudden, after his second birthday, we noticed something, and that was falling episodes. So he would walk and just stumble, and we thought, wow, this is strange. What could this be? So we took him to an array of specialists, and tests were done, and they all said, no, he's fine, he's growing, he's perfect. You know, you're just a first-time mom, and don't worry, his growth will catch up. So in 2014, I gave birth to my daughter, Lauren, and became a mom for the second time. I felt like I had won the lottery. Like I had the perfect life. I had a baby boy, I had a baby girl. Little did I know that 6 weeks after she was born, he would be diagnosed with a rare disease called Leigh syndrome. So that day started as a normal day, and his stumbling just kept getting worse. And so we took him to the emergency room and asked for a CT scan or MRI, anything that could help us understand what was going on. And I knew I had that mother's tuition, like something's going on, something's not right. And we were told that he had Leigh syndrome. And our world was turned upside down, just like many of you that are on the phone right now. We grieved for what our son's life would be, and we also found strength in reaching out to others. My husband researched Leigh syndrome every day. He would email doctors and scientists to ask if they were studying Leigh syndrome, especially when we found out it was the SIRF1 mutation. Then we started identifying researchers and doctors that were working on that specific mutation. Doug would often tell me of gene therapy for monogenetic diseases, and that kind of gave us some hope that there was maybe a possibility that this could be treated, and there would be hope, right? So we were told the same. We were always told the same about gene therapy. It's going to take years and years and years. Don't waste your time. Just enjoy whatever time you have left with your son and move on, right? But for parents, that's not going to happen. So once we heard that gene therapy could be an option, and we knew we couldn't do this on our own, we connected with other SIRF1 families to start the daunting task of raising millions of dollars needed to fund necessary preclinical research. And that is when Cure SIRF1 was formed, because of these three families right here and a doctor, Dr. Stephen Gray. He is, um, oh gosh, one second. I apologize. We are having construction and the workers seem to be here right now. So if you do hear work, I apologize. Back to where we were. We are Parents on a Mission, and we worked with Dr. Stephen Gray out at UT Southwestern to build a SURF1 gene therapy program. And we were told that it would be a long road and it may not work, and it's expensive, and we had to do this to save our children. So the three families right here, so we've got Emma and Kashiti and Will, so we all came together and formed SURF1 to get to our goal of raising millions of dollars for preclinical research. And all grassroots efforts were just parents on a mission. And once we did that, once we did pave the way for SURF1, we realized it was bigger, much, much bigger. So SURF1 is the most common mutation in Leigh syndrome, but there are over 100 different mutations that cause this devastating disease. So we wanted to share our knowledge, that we have learned along the way to help other families, want to empower them, want them to come and research their child's mutation to find a treatment or a cure. So that's when we changed the name and we said we're going to encompass all of the mutations, and we're gonna do that by creating Cure Mito Foundation. And it was created, through SURF1 with the efforts of family. We are grassroots efforts. We are here to pave the way and to knock on those researchers' doors and get Leigh syndrome noticed. We want everyone to know what Leigh syndrome is, so we can find a treatment or a cure for our children. And it takes a village. It takes a huge, huge village. And we are so, so extremely blessed to have a village of our own. We have families from over 13 countries who have been with us from the beginning, sharing their knowledge, trying to find different ways to do fundraising events, to get the money needed to raise awareness and funds for research. And without these families right here, none of this would have happened. This is truly a family, a foundation. All of these families are so very important, and we could have not have done this without them. So we are so grateful for our families, and hopefully one day we will have a cure or treatment for our children. I'm proud to say that since starting Cure Mito, we have the largest Leigh syndrome global registry with over 200 patients enrolled in over 30 countries. And if you haven't enrolled, please enroll. It is so important that researchers understand what Leigh syndrome is, so we can get to that cure or treatment. We need to find out the natural history of this disease. We need to know the symptoms. We have to understand all of this to get to a cure. So it's vital that everybody participate in the global registry. We also are working with Perlara and Rarebase and drug repurposing. So we are researching drugs that are already FDA approved that we could potentially give to our children to help slow the progression of the disease while we wait for something bigger like gene therapy. We're still funding SURF1 research. We just announced that we, along with the Cure ATP6 families, are funding a 2-year, 400,000 ATP6 research project, and we are so excited. We were just at Mito Nice this past week, and just hearing the researchers talk about all this groundbreaking technology, it's exciting. And for once, we have hope that a treatment may be on the horizon. And these are just a few of our research collaborators. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we just wanted to say thanks. Thank you for allowing us to work with you. And if you are interested in working with us, please reach out and let's see what we can do to collaborate and work together to find a cure. Now, we also have, since we are a family foundation, we also have our birthday club. Our birthday club is for our Leigh syndrome warriors, just to give them a little something special to open up on their special day. As we all know, every birthday is a huge celebration in our children's lives. So if you haven't joined, please join. They get a special surprise, and we are so just thankful for our Leigh syndrome warriors, our heroes. They are why we are here today, each and every one of them. We also have a newly diagnosed resource guide on our website, and we also have a resource section with clinical trial updates, support groups, recommended books, and also a kids page that kind of helps explain what mitochondrial disease is for little kids. So check that out. It's awesome. I do want to end on a high note. So even though this is a devastating disease and it's terrible and we're in a nightmare, I have met the most incredible people in the world. And families, all these children that I've met throughout the years, they're like my children, and I will fight for them, and we will continue to fight. So I just want to share this little story about little Delta. She was diagnosed 1 year ago, and her mom reached out to me and said that she didn't have a wheelchair. She was wanting to be mobile and independent. And Will was given this wheelchair that you see Delta sitting in as a hand-me-down when it was his first wheelchair. So we saved it knowing that someone will need this chair. And Delta, she needed this chair. So Will and I drove to Delta's house and dropped it off, and the smile on her face just says it all. She now calls it her wheelchair instead of wheelchair, which I think is absolutely adorable. And it just reminds me that these kids are still kids, and they enjoy, they deserve a childhood too. So I just want to let that out there. I know it's depressing and whatnot, but there is a glimmer of hope, and those friendships that I have made and that you guys have all made, it just makes it worthwhile. I do want to mention that we do remember one of our Surf One partner families, daughter Lola, who passed away this past summer. There have been many, many, many children who have lost their lives too soon from this disease, and it's devastating. And I just want everybody to know that we are never going to stop fighting in honor of your children. We will never forget them. Lola was a special little girl. They've been with us since the very beginning of Cure Surf One, and we just want Christy and Josh to know that they're with us at this time, and we will never stop fighting for Lola and all those who have passed. And on that note, we are so